Good morning and happy Friday. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. The weather is coming about in a nice way. And we have, of course, an amazing day for personalities. Did I say Friday? I mean happy Thursday. My mind is all the way into the week. So today we are highlighting this personality who is a Kenyan-born artist, but really thriving in Australia. And her sound is described as chameleonic. You know, she's like a chameleon. She has a very extravagant, rich sound, which is dipped into experience and expression. She's someone who, of course, bases her foundation of music a lot in identity as she moved to Australia when she was just a young girl, you know, with her family. So I want us to take a look at one of her songs from her leading album that is called Saint Sinner, which was released last year. It's called Pinlara. Let's take a look at the song. Sinner, and it's called Pinlara. Like I told you, this particular artist, she has a lot of expression and she bases her sound in a lot of identity. And it's not just that, you know, there's a lot of richness to her music. Like I mentioned, she is Kenyan born, doing a lot in Australia. She resides there, you know, if I'm not wrong. She is here rather to set, you know, some aspects straight so we get to know her better. And of course, get to celebrate our own, because there's so many young people from our country who are doing amazing things on a local and global scale. Elsie, thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. Your skin is like honey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have to give props to my mum. I feel like it's just family.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, man.
Oh, bless. You know, and you're doing so much, you know. You did a lot with your EP that set you, you know, on the tracks, that set you on the sail. And that EP has a lot of expressive sounds and songs, you know. So how did you, you know, realize that's the kind of music that you wanted to do?
I think it's kind of like a journey that is almost experimental. I think with music, it's ever changing, and that's because of, you know, having lived in two different worlds, really, two different environments. And yeah, being from Kenya and living in Australia, I think I was kind of put in a place where I'm surrounded by like the Prizzles, the Juakalis, but then I listened to like Sia and just like Western kind of music. So I think it's an ever evolving journey, but I think with that EP, Nilotic, it was really just a time where I locked myself in my room because of COVID.
Yes.
And I kind of just took time to self-reflect. And I think I dug deeper into who I am and what I resonate with the most. And yeah, I started tapping into like hip hop and just being as authentic as I can be through the music. Yeah.
You know, the fact that you call it Nilotic, and you said in some of, like I said, your press packet, it's that you were able to influence a lot of the hip hop movement back in Australia. Kenyan born, she did that, you know.
Thank you.
And then you're here now saying, okay, I am getting burnt out. For some people, that's everything. You're able to influence hip hop, you're traveling, you're doing a whole European tour.
Yeah.
You know, so you're having all this recognition, all this, you know, eyeballs on you, but you feel that it's taking so much out of you. Please explain that contrast.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think music it's such a beautiful way to communicate, right? And it's universal, and it's always it's just always so like uplifting to share my story and to share my music. But at the end of the day, it's like you're giving, you know, no one's necessarily giving back to you. And when your cup is empty, it gets to a point where you just simply can't sustain yourself. So you always have to retrieve back. And for me, I mean, I love God, and I love to sit in the Word and just be surrounded by family and things like that. So yeah, I think it just got to a point where I was like, okay, I've given my all. I need to retreat and just kind of fill my cup again, you know. And I think it's really important to do that, because before the music comes out, it's, you know, because of the time away and taking time to be inspired and taking time to grow, so that when you're putting pen to paper, there's still like a substance that's coming out. You know, how
did you, how were you able to understand that you needed to release a moment to get another one? Because you're releasing a whole like I said, a level of fame that other people would just say, if I get this man, yeah. And you're out here like, oh man, I feel so depleted. You're like, are you really serious, girl?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's just being as authentic as you can be. I feel like at the end of the day, it's almost like that analogy they use about the running tap, and if there's dirty water, it has to run out for the clean to come out. And I would have lied to myself if I didn't do Saint Sinner, or if I didn't do Nilotic, because I feel like without Nilotic, Saint Sinner wouldn't have been. So I feel like as an artist, you really just have to put pen to paper, regardless of if you think it's whack or if it's something that you don't want to share. I think you write it down anyway and put it to the side and then start the next. So I feel like it was just a journey that I had to share, and I found that a lot of people resonated with it as well. So it was really cool to be in that space and just be like, do you know what? We're not okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm going to be brave about this.
Yeah. And I think there's power to that. And there was something really profound that someone shared to me. They said it in a very beautiful way, but I'll dilute it in saying, you know, without the dark, you can't see the light, right? Yeah. And I think it's the darkness that makes the light shine as bright as it does. And I think that was really beautiful for that time, because I realized that I couldn't just like hide all the bad stuff away. Like I had to bring that with the good, so that the good can also stand as it is. And yeah, I mean, you just have to, sometimes you have to sit there and just reflect and, you know, be like, it's okay, we'll get up one time and we'll keep it pushing.
So you say that you had to discover who you were at that time. So Nilotic, your EP came out in 2022. Then we have Saint Sinner in 2024. So what is a contrast of who you were then and, you know, when you were producing or, you know, coming out with?
Ooh. I mean, it's interesting. It's almost like two sides to it, almost like the saint and the sinner. I feel with Nilotic, it definitely was beginning to tap into the sinner. And I feel there was still a few veils or like doors that were still covering in the name of the saint being like, you know, we can't show the world that we say things like that, or that we think this way. And I think because I've grown up thinking, you know, you have to, not that you have to be perfect, but just being able to put your best foot forward at all times. But I feel like Saint Sinner, the difference is that I kind of had to let my guard down and just say, do you know what, I'm going to say whatever it is that comes to mind, no filter. And whether that hurts someone, whether that encourages someone, that's up to them. But at the end of it, I just said, do you know what, I have to make sure that I'm speaking for myself first before anything or anyone else. Yeah.
So, as you're speaking for yourself, you also say that you have this deep connection with your spirituality. Yes. You know, and in one of the videos, I think, like I was mentioning to you yesterday, where you're with this other artist, like, you know, Polycarp and the like, you had your Bible open.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
You know, so when did you realize, oh, my foundation is also rooted to my spiritual connection?
I think that's always been constant, to be honest. I mean, I grew up in the church, I grew up singing in the church. So it's always been constant, and I thank God for that. But I think it's in the times of the Saint Sinners and those types of albums and those types of projects that I realized that that's honestly just where my strength comes from. Because I've tried finding strength in other people, and you know what I'm saying, and it never works. Or whether it does work, it just doesn't last as long. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's like when you go to bed, it's just you. Like there's no one else there, and you know, it's great to work alongside the amazing like Fancy Fingers and UIers and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's like Saint Sinner isn't their project, you know what I'm saying? And I'm so blessed to have had their hands on that, but I'm the one that sits with that and I'm the one that sleeps with that. So it doesn't make sense to find some form of like strength or anything from an outsider. It has to be someone that understands my heart, and at the end of it, for me, that's God. So yeah, it was very simple to just turn back and be like, there's no other way.
Yeah. That's very core and very aware, for that matter. When you speak of those artists, like the ones you've worked with, Polycarp, Uaya, one of the people who endorsed you greatly, or some of the people, you know, you have Tierowak.
Yes.
Tyler, the Creator. I mean, it's not every day that you can actually just say that, and it's not just a name that you're dropping, it's a real aspect. Again, it will take me back to your previous moment. I want us to exhaust that, because I think for other artists, it's hard to let go, especially when you feel opportunities come and go, and you do not know the next time you'll experience something like that. But that's in your biography. That's part of your story that you get to tell every other day. You know, so how did that come about? Was it because of your boldness of delving into hip hop as a Kenyan African in Australia,
Yes.
or how did that come about?
I want to say so. I feel like when I started doing hip hop, I feel like it changed the narrative a little bit, because I feel like hip hop is such an aggressive genre, and to rap and to put, you know, words in such a way, it speaks quite profoundly, and I think that definitely opened up a lot more doors in spaces that I couldn't have been in because of singing, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I got to share stages with, the likes of Tiara and Tyler. And I think that kind of just comes with people that resonates. I mean, someone like Tiara, we've had conversations about just, being a black woman in the industry in general. And it's tough, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough, man. It's really tough. And I think you almost have to work that like 10% harder just to almost like be seen. But yeah, I think just being as authentic as I can be, and just like being as aggressive as possible, I think definitely assists. I like the way you just said being aggressive. Yeah, man, you have to be aggressive out here, man.
Okay, right, I think that we'll come back with more of that. We're taking a short break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us right now, we're speaking to Kenyan-born but based Australian artist, or Kenyan artist, Australian artist. She's global. Her name is Elsie Wameo, and she's here, of course, to give us a story about who she is and the projects she's working on. She has such a rich sound, which we're elaborating, during this conversation right now. So, Elsie, you're telling us about being an African woman, basically Kenyan African woman on a global scene, especially in hip hop. So give us that perspective more.
I mean, I think growing up, we never really saw, or I personally never really saw people that look like me doing what I do, especially living in Australia. I remember growing up alongside TK who's from Zimbabwe, and she was the only African woman that I saw rapping and on the stage and just like doing the thing. So I think a lot of the times you're almost just like fighting just to like make it. And I think it's a lot of hits, it's a lot of walls that you kind of get crashing into. But I think perspective changes a lot of things, because I think for me, when I started music, I started just looking at it as almost an advantage, because then you have no competition. So I think for me, it's always just been trying to make sure that I'm looking at it in the best way possible, and just making sure that I'm remembering to stand for those that are to come after me.
Right. Now, one of the things that you've said is that you had to be very aggressive, but still maintain a particular kind of aesthetic and aura, you know, in the music, and you put that in your music. So describe to us exactly the kind of challenges. Was it race? Did they make you feel a type of way? You know, they tell you that you couldn't do it?
I mean, do you know what? It's interesting because no one necessarily comes to you and says you can't do it, especially Australia specifically. The way things are worded is very like blanketed. So a lot of the times it's like they throw coins to your face or whatever, but it's said in a nice way. So you won't catch it until you go home and you're like,
bless your heart.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You're like, wait a minute, that didn't really make sense. But no, I feel like it's just one of those things where for it to work, you really have to rock up. You have to wake up early, you have to get there, you have to do it. Whereas, you know, for some people that's just not the case, where sometimes it might just get handed to them. So I think to even be in that room, you really have to, you almost have to be extra, and you have to be big and loud. But then it's ironic because sometimes you do that and they're just like, too much, quiet, you know, like chill it down. So I think it's just a space that's, you're almost like walking on eggshells. But I mean, in the past few years, they've opened up, and, you know, having artists like myself, and we've got amazing other African artists that have come out of Australia, and I think that has opened up the conversation that little bit more. But we're still fighting.
You're still fighting?
We're still fighting. It's a fight every day. But I love it. I love it.
Okay, then. Now, let's take a look at Saint Sinner deeper, because I want us to dive deeper into the songs. We played Pinyilara. Am I saying it nicely?
Yes.
It's a Mavizuri.
Pinyilara, yes.
Pinyilara, yes. So I want you to describe to us exactly what that meant, and, you know, why the expression, and the fact that they call you an artist who's like a chameleon. You know, you rap, but you sing. I think I feel like that dynamic always starts from the fact that I was born here and went and moved to Australia. But I think so Pinyilara, Watermolo is the one who wrote and sang that beautiful chorus, bless his soul. And the imagery that he gave me was the idea of a human being with like ropes tied around their arms and being ripped apart from either side. So it was that kind of image of just being like torn apart. So it's kind of that was kind of the imagery of what the world was doing to me at that time. And it was kind of just painting this picture of how, it's just like the world will always rip you apart, regardless of what you give. It will always rip you apart. But then the beautiful thing is it says, Kayuda man malo lemona, which means, you know, the Lion of Judah above intercedes on my behalf. And I think it's always this tug and pull for me. And I feel like for most people, it's just always this tug and pull of, you know, being in good then bad, then good then bad. And you're just struggling to survive every single day. And it's like you get up, you fight, it might not work, you get down, you get up again. And it's just that same rhythm of getting to that point where you're just like an eagle soaring because you found your perfect altitude, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think I'll always be of two different worlds, and I think that will always be translated through the music. I don't think that's something I can run away from. If anything, I'm trying my best to come to terms with it. And who instilled that aspect of culture, you know, into, did your parents make sure that you understand this is your identity? Because there's so much happening in the world. You could even be born here in Kenya, but still have an issue articulating your culture, your language, you know, where you're from, how you're supposed to sound, how you're supposed to look like. Right?
I think for me, honestly, it was just my own personal search, and it would have started in Nilotic. Nilotic, I definitely was in front of the computer just trying to figure out who the Nilots were, because I hadn't even heard that word since long until someone said it, is when I was like, oh, okay, cool. How far does this go back? Who is it specifically? And then you learn that it's not just in Kenya, and it spreads across, like, you know, the whole of Africa, really. So yeah, it was really just my own research, and I think, again, it just comes from that place of a heart that's always wanting to belong, and I feel like I've really struggled with finding my place to fit in and to just sit in a place where I feel like I'm at home, So it's always just been in my wonder and my, yeah, just searching to somehow find my identity personally, yeah.
And when you say fit in, exactly, yes, you've made it clear the aspect of the two worlds.
Yes.
But fit in what dynamic? Is it your sound?
Oh, sheesh. I feel like...
On what aspect? What do you mean?
I feel like most times it's actually in a very personal aspect. Because I think for me, before the music, it's just me, right? It's just who I am, right? And I think when you're sitting even in a room, when I was even doing, you know, Saint Sinner, it's really interesting because obviously someone like Watermolo and even Fancy Fingers and UI, they come from the same place, but their experiences are far much different to me. And I think even in that conversation, sometimes you feel like you're lacking something because there's things that they might know that you don't. And yeah, so you're always trying to almost like reach, catch up, exactly. And I think being away from for so long, it's just a matter of like, I'm just chasing, chasing and trying to understand and trying to figure out like what puzzle pieces do I need to get. So yeah, I think it's more on a personal level before the music. The sound is okay. That part I got down pat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, what other song do you feel that I know you connect with everything. It's your album.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. And it's very
one.
unfair to ask an artist that, but what other song do you feel that you really resonate with on Saint Sinner?
Do you know what? I think Repercussions. Repercussions will always be one that I think that, I mean, that was the first song that I wrote, even outside of coming into Kenya. I wrote it in London. And that was the first time off of the back of Nilotic that I put pen to paper, and I was very angry. I remember writing it and I was almost coming to tears because it was a place that was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to, again, come to terms with that like sinner side of me and just being like, you know what, I am angry and I'm just going to say what I need to say. So I think that song for me will always sit right here. Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So all of us have dualities. There's no human being who I do not believe has a duality whatsoever. We do. We are perfect and imperfect. Why did you feel, is it a culture thing? Because I don't care where you're from. You're African everywhere. Same issues, you know. So is it that at some point you felt that if you expressed, quote unquote, the sinner and the other part of you that you deemed imperfect, it should not be received in a way, especially growing up in church and singing in church? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I definitely had to come to a point where I had to say nothing else matters, because I think that was my problem. I was sitting down, and before a song you're thinking, okay, like how will these people see me and how will these people see me? And I remember when Sinner first dropped, that was his first single of the album, my prayer partner actually called me and she was just kind of like, I'd love to sit and hear where you're coming from, and she was really keen to hear kind of the perspective and where that was coming from.
So hold on to that, because that's very, very interesting.
Oh, bless you.
We're taking a short break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. We have in studio with us Elsie Wameo, Kenyan-born but based in Australia, musical artist. There she is, lovely lady here. And you know what? I need her to sing as she, continues to elaborate her story, because she's telling us a very dynamic aspect about, her album title, Saint Sinner. Why that? Because again, human beings, we have dualities, but she'll elaborate it more. But Elsie, you have to sing.
What song do you want?
Repercussions, Finolari.
Oh, repercussions is heavy. I feel like it's too early for repercussions.
Okay, whichever you choose, even from the EP, Nilotic, whichever you want to.
Do you know what? Conquer, right?
Okay, cool. Conquer. Yes, sure. I also have some questions on Conquer, but yeah, like dope ones though.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. The devil keep offering sweets on sweets, got me on chokehold, no release. No lie, he knows how to keep receipts, but I know, no, I am not that cheap. I'm a diamond, please. Nothing will pressure me. Pure force energy, I work best in heat. This, that, go team, God or nobody. I am not phased, never ever. Come correct and it'll work for you better. There's no fear, I can see through whatever. Trust no one, I am not an impressor. Most tell lies, but your friends tell it better. You gotta keep them off radar. Recognize all them snake pretenders. No ties are ever forever.
Hey.
Nothing too big.
Yeah, and there goes Yaya on the
yeah.
You'll imagine he's doing his thing. But that's really dope. Before we go back into Saint Sinner, the album, this song Conquer.
Yes.
It has a lot of the imagery is like you're in a a tennis court. And it's you against you.
Yeah, man.
And you have this, ladies, and at times you are, part of them, guys who are watching and they're just clapping for you. So why the imagery? Is it, because we always fight with ourselves?
Exactly. I mean, even going back to like Pinlar, I mean, I think all the songs almost kind of tag team, and it's kind of this place where a lot of the times I think when we're fighting, we almost try to throw it to so many things, whether it's the world and this, and you're like, no, this is holding me back, this is holding me back. But I think at the core of it, it really just be us. It really just be ourselves. Like,
fighting against
for
yourselves,
real, you're just battling yourself, because at the end of the day, and you're your own competition. At the end of the day, it's like you are one of one. So at the end of the day, it's like no one can ever be Elsie Wameo, and I can do Elsie Wameo the best. So I think it was just that place of trying to fight the inner demons within myself, because I couldn't put that on anyone else.
That was entirely
it was just me.
Because you see, like, for example, look at the imagery on the pictures on air.
Yeah, wow.
You look very, you're different from what we're seeing right now.
Yes, I don't know who that is.
So, so what's that expression? Because I know, again, creatively, we can have expressions that are not similar in any way to quote unquote who we think we are, but it's an expression of what we.
I think sometimes when I look, even just like looking at these images, most times I say I genuinely don't know who that is, because I think when I sit here as, the little girl that just wants to express, and the little girl that wants to learn and teach and inspire. And I think when I see her, I'm like, she's doing what that little girl wants. And a lot of the times she almost has to check back in with me and be like, okay, cool, where to next? But yeah, I think being able to come on stage and almost put a face on, it's easier for me to be a bit more confident, because I feel like it's not, in the house they call me Tish.
I see, okay.
And I think I'm Tish, and then that's Elsie Wameo. So I feel that persona, it's very driven, and it's again very aggressive, and does not take no for an answer. But me, I'm very shy IRL.
Because you kind of look really, chilled out right now.
Real chill.
Conservative right now as you're having this conversation. But you came back for a reason. I know you're always back and forth between Kenya and Australia.
Yes,
and you have this Kilele, festival, and you'll be performing on the 25th, this Saturday, and it means a lot. It means a lot to you.
Yes,
and there's a whole
100%.
lot attached to it, and you have support and backing.
Yes,
which is insane. And I'm not going to say that for you, so I'm just going to let you give us that description.
No, it's so beautiful, and I think it's happened so fast. I mean, at the back of my mind, I knew that the moment I came back to Nairobi and come back home, I definitely was going to find my people. And I mean, this year I said, you know what, guys, we're starting the first show for the year here in Nairobi, just to show that love. Because I think, again, it's like I've got diehards out here, and there's so much genuine love that comes from home. So yeah, I'm very excited. But yeah, on this Saturday, I just want to hug everyone and sing Conquer Out Loud and yell out Umva and yeah, just kind of show that love back to Nairobi, because they've shown me so much love.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So we'll get the lady on screen, the one we've been seeing, you know.
Whoever that is.
You call it, this is Tish and she's Elsie. That's your alter ego.
That's the alter ego, exactly.
She's strong. She's
right?
Pretty, she's pretty something.
No, I bless her. She's doing the thing.
But how does it really feel to, you know, be able to carry both dynamics? Because some people will argue, why do you have to come back, quote unquote, to give back? You know, we have other artists who've gone and just stayed away, you know, and they don't feel the need to, quote unquote, just come back and do whatever they need to, because their careers are moving in such a big way.
For me, it's very important, because at the end of the day, when I'm out there, I'm not Australian, I'm Kenyan. So I can't run away from that. And I think coming back, the most important thing right now for me is Mission Export 254. Okay. And that's why it's just Kenya to the world. You know, we've gone to London, we've done Europe, we've done Australia, and I've taken out the Kenyan band from here. I've worked with some amazing artists. And my goal was to just come here.
And also you'll be doing a tour after this performance on Saturday, and you'll be taking your whole Kenyan band.
Yes, I'm taking the whole Kenyan band. We're going down under to Australia.
Why did you choose, what's the symbolism with that?
Export 254, you know, I think, yeah, I mean, the point is to show our faces out there. Because right now, I mean, South Africa has Amapiano, West Africa has Afrobeat, and I think right now, Kenya is still trying to figure it out, and we have a lot. I think we have a lot to offer, but we haven't exported it, and the world doesn't see the beautiful things that we have. So right now, I mean, for me, it's like, let me put on my backpack who we are and come and show who that is, you know, authentically on the other side. And what better way to do that than like just bring Kenya with me, right?
Yeah, the whole
So I feel like I'm just carrying us, and we're standing out there representing you guys in the country, and it's just 254 to the world. So yeah, it was easy to just be like,
and
cool.
It's authentically Kenyan, fully Kenyan.
Top to bottom, top to bottom. I have worked with amazing artists, and yeah, we're excited to go to Australia, and this is our second round actually. So it's going to be warm. What
does it mean to tour with a band? What kind of discipline, practice does it take? You've toured before, you know, and you're doing it again. Yeah. And I think we need to understand the dynamic of sleeping on the road, waking up in different,
time zones.
Yes, time zone, states, whatnot. Yeah. Give us the lowdown.
It's discipline, I think, is the beautiful word. Just knowing that, you know, you wake up, warm up, do what you got to do the set, and just go straight home. I mean, we have early flights, and you're crossing different countries in very, very short amount of times, you know, so it's like, it's a matter of just first being healthy physically. I think it takes a toll on you physically, and just making sure that you're fit and ready for the stage. But also just mentally as well, because it's hard. You're meeting so many people. I think last year it's a lot, and you're constantly giving and giving and giving. Yeah. So being able to retreat back and allowing yourself to rest and rejuvenate and just reset, it's really, really important. But I mean, you get on stage and all of that kind of goes out the window anyway. So you enjoy what you do the most, and yeah, just making sure to be set in here. Yeah.
All right, when we come back, I need you to tell me how you maintain your voice, how it stays warm to, you know, sing throughout. So we'll be back with more of this conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. We have in studio our fancy young artist. She's a guest here today rather, and she's looking at, you know, so many aspects that she is describing for us.
Yeah.
And right now we are looking at her live work and her live performances. And I just asked her, you know, before the break and while we were speaking during the break, how does she prepare for a live performance? How does she get her band together? How does she take the energy from the crowd? How does she even do it all? Elsie, how do you prepare for all this?
I mean, there's phases, right? So for me personally, it starts at home. And if I know that there's a tour coming up or there's shows coming up, I always make sure to start my vocal exercises regularly. I mean, it should be regularly all the time, but yeah. I try to just make sure that I've got that down packed. I work out, make sure my physical's okay. And I just prep myself with, you know, prayers and just like prepare myself spiritually. But now you get to the band and you get the team together. Now we've got rehearsals. Even tonight, I think I have rehearsals.
I see.
So it's rehearsals almost every day.
Do you look forward to them? Or
yes.
Sometimes it's cumbersome.
Yes. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love rehearsals. I think it's a place where you can mess up and just have fun and you're not
still
as on edge,
flow.
you know? Because when you're going on stage, it's like, oh my gosh, there's people, you know, but I really, and I love the boys and they're so much fun. They're like my brothers. So it's always cool to just like see them and just like do what we love. So yeah, we get to rehearsals and you rehearse every day coming up towards a show. And yeah, we take it now to stage. And like I was saying, I think when we're on stage, we always tell ourselves, make sure that the energy on stage is A1. As long as we're having fun and as long as we're, you know, just enjoying every single moment, that translates to the crowd and the rest is, it just happens.
Okay then. Now, let's take the time you're performing. The euphoria is on and you cannot believe that these people came to see you and they're screaming for you. You know, how's that feeling? What does that do to you?
I think it's the most like encouraging feeling to get. It's very uplifting. I think it's one thing to be recognized. You know, it's one thing to put out music and just release it to the world, but it's another for someone to be like, this is great. Like,
so do you feel
resonate.
seen?
You feel seen. You feel seen, and especially again, like after consistently being lost in so many worlds and in so many sounds and things like that, for someone to say, do you know what? I've had conversations with children that are like 7 years old to, you know, older women and older men that come and just say, do you know what, this song helped me through this time, or this.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, and it's moments like that that I even forget the impact that I'm having. So yeah, I think it's that place of just being seen, but also remembering that you're inspiring someone and you're changing someone's story in one way or another. So it's, yeah, it's a blessing, and I think.
But how trippy is it? How trippy is it that fans usually, I mean, I have people who I really look up to and admire, musicians or whatnot, and I have so much information about it. Things that, man, I don't even need to know. So you can imagine there's someone who knows too much about Elsie, and you see maybe a, you know, a placard like in the crowd, like a whole thing, you know, a banner, like Elsie, we love you. What do you, like a picture of you? Like, how did that even get on the internet?
I hear
Does that surprise you sometimes?
It does. I think sometimes I forget that. Especially when you're, like, the internet is one of these places where it's just open. So I think sometimes I do forget that everyone sees everything. And yeah, I've definitely had shows where people have come and said something that I've said in an interview and I'm like, did I really say that? I don't really remember saying that, you know. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's fun because I feel like it almost breaks that barrier between you and the viewer and the listener. So it feels like you're in like one bedroom together, just writing the work and things like that. So it's you're a bit more transparent, which can be good, sometimes bad, but so far it's been good.
Now, speaking about how uncomfortable it can be or how amazing it can be, what's the most insane or profound thing you've ever heard about yourself from fans?
Whoa. I don't think I've heard anything crazy, to be honest. I feel like most of the times they just use words that I've said like already, like they would just say things that I've already said, but I don't think there's any, I mean, I've definitely been to, like, I played an arena tour with some good friends of mine in Australia, Hilltop Hoods, and that's where they had like the cards and stuff, and I think people would just like pull up cards and be like, marry me, or things like that. That's just like, I'm still a child. But honestly, I don't think
I know that.
I don't know. I really don't know. But no, I don't think I've ever had anything like wild yet.
Yeah. Okay, then now there goes for the male attention, you know, because that is what happens when you're out there and you're doing your thing and you're looking fly and everything like that. Yeah. So again, also, how do you handle that? Because we want to imagine artists will always want, you know, their music or their art to be focused on, but everything else gets focused on. It's human.
I've had these conversations actually. There was one time, and I never noticed this. There was one time a friend of mine who's also an artist, mentioned something about even just the way I dress. They said something along the lines of, I'm proud of you for not having, you don't feel that you need to show skin to make it. And I never clocked it because for me, I just am and I just do what I love. But I think that has sat with me for a while. And I think with time, I kind of realized to be able to translate the music, you have to only give the music and nothing else as much, I guess, quote unquote. But I feel like it's making sure that the way you're presenting yourself, and it's not on stage, I think on social media, the things that you're saying, the things that you're posting and things like that, just how you're expressing yourself has to be quite intentional. But I mean, for me, I just focus on the music and I just am. I think for me, I am the way I am and it works. And I feel and I pray that I remain. But yeah, I think you always have your people come to you regardless. So I don't feel like no woman should ever feel that they need to do anything or be a certain way to make it out there. I think stick to who you are and your people will find you.
Okay.
I just am, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
I hear you. So coming from a very strong EP that is very rooted like Nilotic, and then you go to Saint Sinner, which is very dynamic, you know, funny enough, you're always, you know, going to be asked what next.
Yes.
It always feels unfair though, because it does feel unfair to be honest, because it's a very heavy project. It doesn't matter that I mean 22 and 24, they're not too far. But because of how they are, and now people can understand the expression that you are this level of creative, then they would expect the next level of creative. You get my flow?
Yes, yes.
So
what next?
Is it fair? I know it's crazy, but I have to go there.
No, I hear you. No, I think we're always moving as artists. I think we should always move, and I mean, I can't sit here and tell you I know exactly what's going to happen next, but I can say that, you know, I'm constantly creating. I'm constantly trying to find inspiration. I spent the last month actually with just family, and I blocked that out to just kind of go back to that and find that strength. You know, so I'm constantly looking and I'm constantly searching. But I mean, good music, man, at all times. I think it's just good music and trying to translate my story the best that I can. I think right now I'm definitely feeling I'm in a place of wanting to know Kenya just that little bit more again. And I've been here for a few months, and I think I'll always be coming back. Always be coming back and just trying to tap into the culture and the music and find my little gap in there somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do we say your level of quality of your album is? There's a time, and I don't know why this reminds me of your work. Beyonce would say, "This is how I want my sound to sound." When we had the Beyonce era, leave alone from Lemonade to Renaissance and the like.
This is the divas.
Yes, yes,
yes.
you know,
I hear
the self-titled and the like. So you have a quality, and there seems to be a progression about your expression in music. So what is that you want people to get from you mostly? I know you said you don't have to be a particular way, but what is Elsie generally saying throughout her music that you feel will be a constant?
I think the constant will always be the like fierceness and the very unapologetic. I think a lot of times when I speak to people, I'm always reminded that I come off to be very, very stern in the most beautiful way possible. And I think in the music, it's just say what you need to say and let it be that. Because I think the world has a very annoying way of pushing you and making you question and going,
okay, then.
Question mark.
Right, we're taking a break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now we've come to the final part of this conversation, but Elsie has to sing as we're ending this conversation. Elsie has to tell us more about her, her sound, her description of what her, what basically she wants us to resonate with the most when it comes to her music and creativity plus her performance. So see all those things.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So you can start from where you feel most comfortable.
I think let's start from home, right? Right now, I really would love to just put Tufafo on, and I think I can't do that alone at the end of the day. But I feel like if it's anything, I really want to remind us, the listeners, but also the artists. We have to really carry who we are everywhere we go, because you've had Kenyans, travel outside as well and do shows and stuff like that.
And as you're saying that, my director is insisting you had to sing, girl.
Oh.
Sing or rap.
Oh.
Both.
Oh, which song?
Girl. Yoyote unataka.
So when I speak, when I drop new heat, don't stop. Wait, whoa, that's a long catalog.
From the EP or the...
I'm trying to think, actually. I'm kind of going back to Nilotic.
It's okay. We just need you to sing.
Last time I wrote was a medical piece, but now my heart's at ease. Been in a fight to defend my peace. Struggle to find a relief. Or the pain still sits skin deep. Been vexed for a couple of weeks. Men stressed on staked up heaps. But we press down by all means. Hold it big and pleading at oh please. It is the beginning of a Nilot G. River now running and we're moving in threes. To the far east on the borderline. Been far less tears but I still cry. I've been on the edge but I'll get mine. Build up the end kind. I'm sending out to the fine. Build up the new kind. Should have invested the first time.
Okay.
Should have invested.
I'm sorry.
It's too late.
Yeah, too late. That's
too late.
Yeah, can't help it. Yeah, you're doing it. That's just you. And we just need a sound. Could you sing that song I told you with from the? I keep forgetting the name.
Wonderhorns?
Yes, please. Just a bit of it.
Whoa, how does Wonderhorns go? Oh my gosh, there's so many songs in my head.
Thank you for letting me something stay. I'm trying to help here. Yeah.
Wait, no. Wait, go on.
No, you're speaking about you remained.
Whoa.
Like you remained. So you're happy about that? Because I don't have time to end.
Why do I not know Wonderhorns? Put my heart in a safe place and these niggas trying to steal it. Locked it up with a master key, I'm hiding my spirit. I thought that I gave you my all, but you keep on asking for more. I thought that I gave you my all, that's not what we agreed on. Whatever else that you want, I ain't got nothing else left in me. Cause I gotta learn how to say no, then how to build boundaries. So carrying all of these things, I'm guarding and holding my peace. I gotta do what's best for me, cause nothing is guaranteed.
There you go, Mama.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that's the end? I'm even happy about this, but thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And if you want to catch more of Elsie's performance, she is performing this Saturday in Westlands at the Kilele
Summit, 22nd of Feb, Saturday. Be there, be square. Yeah, man.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Remmy Majala. Coming up is E Interactive. Stay with us.